Hello and welcome to my channel, Kuromus here. Today I am bringing you a War Domain Cleric multi-classed into 2 levels of Paladin. This will be a mix of melee character with divine casting and powerful melee smites. If you like a close and personal playstyle with lots of spell casting and awesome divine damage, then this build is for you. We will begin our journey as a War Domain Cleric up until level 5. This means we start with heavy armor and access to martial weapons, bonuses that are provided by this domain. As part of the kit, we get to use our bonus action to perform an additional attack. We will start with 3 War Priest extra attack charges and end the build with 5 charges. This will recharge on a long rest, so we must think wisely when to spend these. At level 5, we have a feat and level 3 spells like Spirit Guardians, so we are ready to multi-class to Paladin, 2 level deep only. This will let us spend our spell slots to cast Divine Smites. That will add 2d8 to our regular attack as divine damage. What makes this build fun is that our smites will rarely miss, thanks to Guided Strike, a reaction that will add a +10 to our chance to hit. We will have a charge early and a second one at level 6. These recharge on a short rest. For the remaining of the build, we will focus on the Cleric class to get our second feat and Divine Strike weapon at level 8. This adds a bit of damage to our attack each turn, which is welcome since we will have a single base attack. Our feats will be focused on defense to maintain concentration and reduce melee damage. Kindly read the description of this video to understand my thought process and some considerations for these guides. Also, click the button down below to support my content. Without delay, let's begin. We will begin our build as a cleric to get our level 3 spells as soon as possible and to feel as a divine caster through the early portion of the game. Our subclass will be War Domain. This means that Divine Favor and Shield of Faith are always memorized since are provided by this subclass. We will also have access to martial weapons and heavy armor as part of this subclass. For our ability points, we are going strong in strength and we want to have decent constitution and finally wisdom for our spell casting and wisdom saving throws. At level 4 we will choose a feat that will round up our strength up to 18. At Cleric level 2 we get Channel Divinity charges and Guided Strike. This, like mentioned before, it is a reaction and it will spend one of these charges that will recharge on a short rest. On our next level we will learn level 2 divine spells. Spiritual Weapon is extremely strong as it will consume a bonus action to summon a weapon. There are other great choices for your party, like 8, which will increase the maximum hit points of everyone. And it will last until your long rest again. At level 4 we will get access to our first feat, and it will be Heavy Armor Master. This will round our strength up to 18, and will reduce non-magical attacks damage by 3. At level 5 we get access to Spirit Guardians and other level 3 spells. At this point I decided that it was a good moment to dip into the Paladin class to get access to Divine Smites. You have some other great spells like Mass Healing Ward and Glyph of Warding to have a bit of variety in your spell casting. At character level 6 we will multi-class into Paladin. The subclass I went for Devotion, but really you can take anything as it will not be really relevant. And with our second level in Paladin we get access to the Paladin spell casting and we get Divine Smite. What is relevant about this spell is that we can upcast it. We can use higher level spell slots to deal increased damage. On top of this, Paladin gives us access to fighting style, great weapon fighting. That will make our damage more consistent across the board. For the rest of the build, we will focus on Cleric levels. Now our Guided Strike at this level will be able to affect allies as well. At level 9 we will get access to level 4 spells. Here Stone Skin is very powerful since it will drastically increase our tankiness. At Cleric level 8 we will get Divine Strike weapon. This is pretty much a 1d8 free damage every time we strike on melee. once per turn, and we get access to our second and last feat. It will be Warcaster, since I'm interested in maintaining concentration in spells like Spirit Guardians and Stone Skin. And since we will be in melee range, we will get hit quite a lot. Also consider we do not have proficiency in Constitution saving throws, so we will still get interrupted from time to time. Character 11 we get the amazing Flame Strike, which is an absolute powerhouse of a spell. It is a domain spell, same as Hold Monster, so it will always be memorized in our spellbook. At our last level we get Divine Intervention. I'm not gonna tell you what this does, I'm sorry. Now moving into the items, these are the ones that I will use for the combat showcase. These are all very standard items. The idea behind this is to highlight the character, the build, the skills, and as you will see the damage is pretty decent even though I don't have anything crazy equipped. Before the combat we will cast Stone Skin, since the duration is until long rest, and in case it gets interrupted we can proceed and cast Spirit Guardians. Once we are in the battlefield, the build is very straightforward to play. We just go and punch somebody with our smite, and we can use the War Priest free attacks to finish somebody off if we need to. While we are moving to melee range, or if we need to support the other party members, we can cast any spells that we have already memorized, since we have access to the whole spellbook, besides level 6 spells. It's a good blend because we have powerful single damage attacks provided by the smites, and on top of that we have very great utility and area of effect thanks to Spirit Guardians or Flame Strike. At this point I just focus on finishing off the dwarf with my maximum smite to deal some incredible damage, and then I use the extra action just to finish him off because actually he hits pretty hard. We also have access to a lot of healing that we can utilize to heal ourselves or other party members. Unfortunately my concentration gets interrupted here, but I have not sustained much damage. Anyway, I just decide to heal to spend my bonus action on that, and I just keep striking the enemies in melee, spending my higher level spell slots to try to deal more damage. I have the Divine Strike weapon here popping up all the time, but you can set it up to automatic in the reactions menu if you want to. At this point, since I have two enemies in melee range, I decide to go for Spirit Guardians. This is an amazing spell that they will deal damage when enemies enter the area or at the beginning of your turn, and it is one of the spells I had the most fun in my playthrough. At this point the combat is pretty much over. It was quite easy with this build, I'm not gonna lie, even though the enemies keep interrupting us, no problem. To close the video, let me know in the comments what do you think of this build, and as usual thank you very much for watching and see you in the next video. Adios!